Good evening, Swamiji. Welcome to the Speaking Tree session.
Yes, good evening to everyone.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Speaking Tree session on overcoming uncertainty, fear, and becoming stress-free. Today, we have with us Swami Prakarshananda from Chinmaya Mission, Delhi. Swamiji has Masters in Veterinary Science. Prior to becoming a monk, he worked 7 years as an assistant professor at the Bombay Veterinary College. During this period, he mastered the principles of yoga and subsequently joined the Chinmaya Mission's Vedanta course to undergo an intensive 2-year monastic training through the study of scriptures. Swamiji's commitment to devote his life to promoting Vedanta resulted in his initiation as Brahmachari Prahlad Chaitanya. From 2004 to 2016, he served as Acharya in Madgaon, Goa. In 2014, he received his sannyasa diksha and was given the name of Swami Prakarshananda. At Chinmaya Mission, Delhi, Swamiji conducts regular Vedanta classes and discourses on the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Sri Ramcharitmanas, and other scriptures. A dynamic spiritual guide, Swamiji has good command over English, Hindi, Marathi, and Sanskrit languages. His discourses carry examples from daily life so that deep philosophical topics are made easy to understand. Swamiji will speak for 30 minutes. After the talk, he will answer questions. Over to you, Swamiji, now.
Yes. Hari Om, Namaskar to one and all present here. Hope I am audible to everyone. Sonalji?
Yes, Swamiji, you are audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. And we welcome you all for this today's nice session, which is planned by Times of India group. And second important point, we also pray for everyone during this pandemic situation to have the best of their health and well-being. The topic, as it was suggested to me, is during this uncertainty, how to overcome the fear and the stress. So it's a very nice and a very practical sort of topic, or it's very connected to our day-to-day life, and that's why I thought, oh yes, I would like to share some nice ideas from my side. Let us begin this session with the name of the Lord. So I just pray to the Guru. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Deva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om, Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. Always in our Indian tradition and in Vedic, our so-called as culture, we always begin a talk or any our action with a prayer to the Almighty, and we consider Guru is connection between the Almighty and this whole world. So if you pray to the Guru, you are connected to the whole universal truth directly. Okay. So first, a nice thought. Please listen carefully, or you can write if you want. If you want to change, what's going on around you, if you want to change what's going on around you, change what's going on within you. Change what's going on within you. So this is the Vedantic concept. Like whatever we understand that outer situation is like this, is like that. So one has to understand, if you want to bring whatever changes in your outer circle, the first one has to bring the change in our inner core. Beautiful way of understanding through the Vedantic knowledge. So what is this Vedanta? Let me just explain quickly. Vedanta means, it is explained like this. Vedanto nama Upanishad Pramana. So Upanishad is a last portion, the end portion of Vedas, and it's completely full of knowledge, the self-knowledge, and therefore the Vedanta means the end portion of the Vedas. That's why it is called as Vedanta. Hope it is clear. So it's complete knowledge. Next, a philosopher explains beautifully, and I liked these beautiful lines, so I just wanted to share. It is said, a winning horse do not know what is win. A winning horse do not know what is win. It only runs in pain given by his rider. It only runs in pain given by his rider. So, whenever you are in pain, think that God wants you to win. God wants you to win. So this is called as complete positivity. Looking at something with a positive understanding. Hope this message of a philosopher is very beautiful and very beneficial for all of us to understand the subject. There is a nice prayer, and we all have, I think, sung in our school days. What's that? Hum honge kamyab, hum honge kamyab, hum honge kamyab ek din. हो मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. So we almost have this complete confidence that yes, though there is a situation, might be a tough one, but with my right knowledge and with my right efforts, I can overcome it, or I can do my best to cross over. Next point. Now this world, one has to understand what is this world when we are all living in this world. So in Sanskrit, this world is called as Sansara. This word is called as Sansara. You might have heard this word many times. So, what is this Sansara? So, the definition of Sansara is Samsarati iti Sansara. Samsarati iti Sansara. That which keeps moving, that which keeps changing always is called as Sansara, the world. Now, when this whole world has this peculiar sort of behavior or peculiar sort of nature that it keeps changing, so one has to be very clear, it is its continuous nature or process where it keeps changing and never remains same. Now, one more beautiful point, a very technical point. What is more important to know in this Sansara, that whatever you see, now this is a technical Vedantic point, whatever you see is going through 6 modifications. Through 6 modifications. The first modification is called asti, second is called as jayate, third is called as vardhate, fourth is called as viparinamate, fifth is called as apakshiyate, and the sixth is called as vinashyati. Let me explain it in English. Asti, that which is. Now take an example. And fetus is. It is in the uterus. Fetus is. Asti, jayate. Then it takes the birth. Then the child is born. Vardhate. Then the child keeps growing. Then viparinamate. The child attains the complete growth. Apakshiyate. Then it starts declining. Then vinashyati. This body perishes one day. So there are 6 modifications which are absolutely a truth, a sort of, it's sort of nature of this body, and which has this 6 modifications. So we must know that, okay, we are in this world which is continuously in a process of change, as well as this body, what we all have, also undergoing through 6 different changes. Okay, so now another simple but very important Vedantic principle to know the subject is, unless and until there is a cause, there cannot be an effect. Unless and until there is a cause, there cannot be an effect. The first principle. Second principle, cause is one, but effects are many. Cause is one, but effects are many. Third, very important principle, if the cause is removed, nothing remains. If the cause is removed, nothing remains. So, this Vedantic principles, we have to understand and keep it in our mind to understand any subject with clarity. Okay, now let us take one example. A person is appearing for IAS examination. Now, what is the state of this person and how he is, having this situation in his life? The syllabus for this exam is vast. First point, very vast syllabus. Second, the question which comes into this exam are very tricky, and the pattern keeps changing. Third, the time which is given to answer the question paper is very limited. So there is always sort of anxiety about it, as well as there is called as a sort of question mark, would I able to do it or not? Okay. Next, there is a very huge competition. A very big factor is competition. Thousands and thousands of people, they appear for this exam. And the attempts for this exam are also limited. So much of uncertainty which is there brings fear and a stress. Now just see, this brings a fear and a stress. So I just gave an example how a fear and stress which comes to our life. A simple example. Now we go another step ahead. Let me clear that major cause of fear is not in the form of object, Why? Because fear is nothing but a thought in our mind. What I said, please note it. Fear is nothing but a thought in the mind. So it is of a subtle nature. So it is of a subtle nature. Therefore, the remedy of it cannot be any object. Why? Because the nature of the fear is subtle, so there cannot be a remedy which can be a gross. Hope it is clear, because we have to complete this topic and have a question answer. So I will not elaborately explain everything. I will just touch it and then go ahead. Okay, so as I said, the fear is only in the form of thought. Now let me describe what fear is. Fear is of two types. One which is called as natural fear and one which is called as acquired fear. One is called as natural and one is called as acquired. Now the natural fear, let us first see. Natural fear is very beneficial to every one of us. What it is? What is the natural fear? Acha. Whenever, if we go for a trekking on a very steep mountain, then we all have a sort of fear that let us not fall here and there, and therefore we are more cautious and go ahead with a great care. So this fear is very natural fear. Then what is the second fear? The second fear is, just I'm giving an example. Second fear, when somebody starts driving a car very sort of new, a person who is new, a recent one who has learnt the driving. When he drives a car, and then there is a sort of fear as well as little stress on his mind, which is also natural. So that's called as a natural fear, which will also be beneficial for the right action and careful actions. Now, what is called as acquired fear? What is called as acquired fear? This acquired fear is not beneficial. Is not beneficial. Why? Now pay attention. This acquired fear, the cause of acquired fear is attachment as well as possessiveness. What I said? The cause of fear is attachment as well as the possessiveness. So what happens if I understand that this is very dear to me, so I get attached to this object or whatever, this is an example, then what happens? I become very possessive about it because I understand that my whole happiness depends on this object. So what it develops? So I hold on to it very, very tightly. That creates the feeling of insecurity. That creates the feeling of insecurity. What is this feeling? If what? It goes from my hand. If what? If it goes away from me. See how it is. It goes away from me. Now, this is how this insecurity feeling gives rise to a thought or a notion called as fear. This gives rise to a notion called as fear. So the expression of insecurity is fear. Hope this analysis is clear. So now what is a remedy? What is a remedy? So a beautiful example I'll explain. Just imagine if I'm sitting on the river bank, Now, I have seen a very beautiful piece of silver item, a very long one called as a silver stick, big silver stick, which is floating on the river now, and it's going on and on, it comes near to me. So I want to jump and catch it. So I jump into the river and somehow take that stick in the hand and wants to now return back to the bank of the river. Meanwhile, it happens so, a sort of water pool starts, sort of running into a circular fashion, and because of that, one wave is created and the stick is gone from my hand. Now it is gone into a deep waters, as well as the flow is also very fast. So I dare not to enter it and come back to the shore, to the bank of the river. And now I keep thinking, oh, my stick which is gone, and that's why I have this sort of very bad feeling. Now, please understand. In this example, the stick has come from somewhere. It was actually for some time with me, but because of the current of the river, it has gone away from me. So please understand, in this world, everything is like this. This world is under a continuous change. So the things and beings are coming and going in our life, and which is the fact. Therefore, he who understands that this is how is the whole nature of the world, the things and beings keep coming and keep going away from all of us. Therefore, there should not be any security feeling to any one of us. This right knowledge should be there with us. So let us not have this so-called as possessive feeling about anything. Don't have possessive thing about it or about anything, the beings or about the objects. So if you do not have this possessive feeling, too much of possessiveness brings insecurity. Then what you have to develop, let it go. One has to understand, let it go. This simple principle one has to follow. That as it comes, if it has to stay with you, it stays. And if it has to go, it goes. Therefore, have the quite equilibrium or have the equipoise of the mind. Develop this equipoise by the right knowledge, by the right practices, and that gives rise to a very strong feeling, a strong willpower, a strong confidence about anything in whatever we do as our action. So, in short, I have explained about the fear. Now, let me explain about the stress. See, stress is also to be understood in this way. There is called as physical stress and there is called as a mental stress. Physical stress is very common because anybody if overexert, then this body has a certain capacity. If you overdo, then this body becomes tired. But the remedy to regenerate is not very difficult. What? You take a proper rest and your body is fine next day. So the physical stress is easily removed or can be removed by a right rest or by a right sort of comforts, physical comforts. And that's how we can overcome physical stress. Now, mental stress. this mental stress, one has to understand, is because of what? So the mental stress is because of our wrong way of thinking. Mental, what is that? Wrong way of thinking. Or you may say a negative way of thinking, which creates a stress in our mind. So it is a sort of an emotional imbalance which is created in the mind, and that's why there is a stress. That's why there is a stress. So take an example, simple example. In relationship, there is a stress. Certain relationship, there is a stress. Now one understand how to analyze it. In relationship, when there is a complete trust, there is a complete faith, then this relation is a very strong relation, and in this relation there is hardly any stress. But as soon as the trust is reduced, or trust is gone down, or faith is gone down, or the faith is so-called as broken into pieces, then there arises a doubt. And this doubt in the relation gives a very great stress, because now without that trust, how to maintain the relation? It is a tough job. So without that trust, if we keep going on in the relation, then there are n number of doubts created, and that really creates a stress. And top of it, if we do not communicate to each other, the stress increases. See, so what is this? This is called as mental stress. Then what else is also to be understood as a mental stress? A sort of action which you have taken it up and you are not able to perform to the best of your capacity, and therefore also you develop a mental stress because you are answerable to someone. You have a target in so-called as the sales line. Then they have a target and they have to achieve the target, and if the target is not achieved, that this and that will happen. So much there is a stress. So therefore one has to understand this also comes under a stress. How to have the proper handling, how to handle this stress? Yes, this is an important point now. Any stress, one has to understand, stress, even the mental stress to the certain extent is also very natural. Why? Because whatever you do, if the mind is not very trained, then it has certain stress. Please understand, the mind goes under a certain stress because of the newness of the action, or because of the lack of information, or because of lack of capacity to do it. So how it is? So I'm explaining it simple. As if you jog every day, so what happens? The first day you may cover up only 1 or 2 kilometers. Then second day you have to push yourself little, so you run 2.5 kilometers. The third day you push yourself little more, you can run 3 kilometers. Now what happened? Slowly your capacity is increasing. In the same way, our mental capacity also increases day by day with a right understanding and with a right focus on our whatever actions we all are doing. So therefore, one should not be very sort of scared about this stress. Now, let me give a beautiful connection to this stress or to this fear with a Bhagavad Gita beautiful shlok. See what happened? Arjuna also had a fear and Arjuna also got stressed. Both the things happened with Arjuna. So Bhagavan said a beautiful thing. What did he say? Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Agama payino nityaha. Agama payino nityaha. Tanti tikshasva bharata. Tanti tikshasva bharata. Chapter number 2 and the verse number 14, 1-4. Bhagavan said to Arjuna, Arjuna, understand that this sense object and sense organs, they always interact with each other. And when they interact with each other, they always have an experience. Because of the interaction. What is this experience? Now this Sukha Dukkha, Shita Ushna Adi. So Sukha Dukkha means joy and sorrow. There are only two things which comes to us when we have a sort of interaction with this world: joy and sorrow, cold and heat. Now, in few days or a month later, winter will set. Now just take an example. That is the situation. Winter is a situation, and because of the cold weather now outside, when we go in the cold weather, we feel so much of cold. Now this is an experience. Please understand, all experiences are agama parino anitya. Every experience is temporary. When a sense object comes in contact with sense organ, there is an experience, but this experience only lasts till this sense organ and sense object are together. As soon as they are away, the experience is over. So please understand, there is no experience in this world which is permanent. All experiences are temporary. Therefore, now Krishna Bhagavan tells here that Arjuna tantitikshasva. You have to develop the tolerance power to bear with all the changes which happens around us. How is it possible? Now, simple way, let me give this example. When there is a winter season, there is a cold outside, you put a heater in your room and your room is cozy. See, you have overcome the difficult situation by right method or right technology or with right effort. In the same way, when there is a hot season, summer season outside, you put air condition and again your whole atmosphere becomes very cozy. In the same way, as I started with, if you want something to happen as a change outside, all around you, we need to 100% bring a change within all of us. And that's how we can overcome this fear as well as the stress in this also a difficult pandemic condition. So, In short, I tried my level best to put this topic into with different examples to make it simple to everyone. So if
Yeah.
there are
Yes,
some
Swamiji.
questions, I would like to answer those questions.
Yes, Swamiji. We have a few questions with us
Yes.
I'll start with Yash Varandani. He says, recently I developed a strange condition. I'm living in fear, imagining worst case scenarios that are never going to happen. Can't stop thinking about them. And also the blood pressure is not normal. So imagining scenarios that may not happen.
Yes. Yeah. So, question is about the imagination, which may not be there or which is not possible even. Such case is there, and therefore there is a sort of there is a sort of condition or there is a fear which is developed in the mind. So there are two ways to understand it. One, which is called as if it is too severe, this feeling is too severe, I would suggest that you must take the help of psychiatrist, which is very important. If it is too severe, you must take a help of psychiatrist. Or if it is not that severe, so one has to understand, as I explained before, the nature of this world is such which keeps changing. So understand, please understand that everything if keeps changing, nothing all around us is permanent. Nothing all around is permanent. Therefore, if we focus our attention on this right knowledge that if everything is temporary, which keeps coming, and which keeps going, so why should I have this wrong notion of some imaginary situation which at present is not there? And even if such difficult situation comes in life, then that situation also is not a permanent situation which comes and which goes also. If I remain steady and do my right things, this will also pass away.
Oh, that's
This
a
will
wonderful.
also
That's
pass.
a that's also a wonderful thought, Swamiji. That if we remain steadfast, that it will pass away. But you also mentioned the nature of this world. So our
Yeah.
next question is about the nature of this world. How does one deal? This is Bhavana Roy. She wants to know, how does one deal with duality of modern existence, minimalist living versus wealth creation? The race of modern man is focused only on monetary wealth creation, which contradicts with natural ecological balance. So the
Oh, this
duality
is
of
a good
modern
question.
existence.
Very good question. See, here there is a question which has two important aspects. One is called as have have things and whatever earning which are as much as required for maintenance, and one is called as wealth creation, that create and have more and more. So this is first to understand. We all must know that let my let my life has my life has a right principle, because without the principle we may not stand very steady on one thing for long time. So Puja Gurudev beautifully used to say, Swami Chinmayananda ji, we fondly call him Puja Gurudev, is to say, if you do not stand for something, you will fall for everything. If you do not stand for something, you will fall for everything. So now please pay attention on this beautiful quotation, that one must understand that I should have my life principles, because without the life principle, the life cannot be steady, life cannot be peaceful, life cannot be harmonious. Let me give a simple example. If somebody says that let me live as and when it comes to my mind, whatever, let me do everything as per my whims and fancies of the mind. Now, let me just explain about this. So we all know how many thoughts come in our mind by God. See, scientifically, it is explained that 50,000, 50,000 plus thoughts flow through our mind per day. So you can imagine now. So if those many thoughts are flowing through our mind per day, and if I start acting on every alternate thought, then what will happen to me? Another example, if I do not follow certain principles, that's called as rules. What is a simple example? So, example is when we take up our car and start driving on the road. So, we all have to maintain certain rules and regulations. We all have to maintain. So, there are traffic lights, signals, traffic signals. So whenever there is a traffic signal, I have to stop. Now just imagine, this is a condition which everyone, all of us have to follow. If half the people follow and half the people do not follow, then imagine what can happen to this whole sort of town or city. A chaotic condition will be created. Therefore, we must understand we should not look somewhere, or we should not look towards someone's life who is doing what, but we should be very much clear what I should do in my life. And I would definitely tell you that if you have this principle that let me do my best, let me do my best, and with my best, whatever best I get, let me be absolutely contented. If this principle, if you follow, you will be the most happy person in the world. And one more thing you have to focus. Don't look at people around. Look at you and understand what I have, what all I have. So if your focus is on what all I have and not on what I do not have, then also your mind will be very cheerful and focused towards your own actions. And it will not get distracted by this different sort of thought pattern as well as conditioning of the world. So
conditioning of the world, that is again an important point that you made. So
yeah.
Swamiji, one question that has just come in, it's about the food items that can help us reduce stress. So are there any food items that can help us reduce stress?
Yeah, you know, this question can be answered like this. See, food items also having different nature, because everything has its nature. So like, just giving example, what is called as tamasic nature food item, tamasic nature. So that is called as liquor, alcohol is considered as a tamasic, that which is a very sort of wrong nature of the food item. If somebody takes that, then that person goes heaven. In the same way, there are right ways and means to have the food item. What are they? The food item which is sattvic in nature. The food item which has sattva, too much means maximum sattva in it. So what are all they? All fresh vegetables, all fresh fruits, then milk, ghee. These are considered as most sattvic food items. If we consume a fresh fruit in that season, that reduces all sort of stress fear as well as this conditioning too.
So, Swamiji, another question by Snehal Trivedi. She wants to know chanting Om can help us reduce stress, but how many times should chanting of Om be done so that it becomes effective?
Yes, yes. This is also a good question. The chanting of Om is directly affecting the whole system because every mantra has its own vibration. So one can chant as per the time which is there with all of us. So the minimum you can chant for 11 times. If you have little more times, extend it to 27. If still you have a more time, extend it to 54. And if you still have a more time, 108.
108.
So, as per your time and as per your capacity, you can choose the number of times chanting of the Omkar.
Fantastic. So, Swamiji, Shanki Kumar says, how does Vedanta help me in my life? Neither it provides social security nor monetary profit. So, what is the motive of Vedanta?
See, one has to understand that voluntarily, what is called, just read it again, please, Sonalji.
Yes, he says, how does Vedanta help me in my life? Neither does it provide social security nor monetary profit. So what is the motive?
Social security nor monetary profit.
Yes.
Okay. See, monetary profit. First, let me just give this focus on this. Money comes, or you can bring money, or you can get money when you do a right action. Yes or no? So answer is yes. How can you do a right action? When your mind is steady, when your mind is focused, and when your mind is balanced, then your actions can be very effective. So this knowledge of Vedanta gives that equilibrium, that balance to the mind by making it very strong internally, providing a right knowledge, and that's how a person can get so much whatever he or she requires. This is monetary. I connected to it as the mind, which is very firm, very steady, very strong, can do a right action, and right action can bring a right amount of monetary benefit. Now, social security, right, Sonalji?
Yes.
Social security. See, again, insecurity feeling is because of a wrong notion of the mind. So if the mind is set by a right knowledge for a right things in a very right way, then this insecurity feeling goes. As I explained, that whatever insecurity feeling comes to all of us is because of two reasons. One is because of attachment, and one is called excessive possessiveness. If we can, grow about with right knowledge about this both attachment as well as excessive possessiveness, you can overcome this sort of feeling which is called as social insecurity too. Hope I have answered this question.
Yes, absolutely. So another question, Swamiji, is by Sagar Manekar. He wants to ask, if you put your best efforts, the result expected sometimes are not achieved. This is especially in office. If a task is assigned and we don't get desired outcomes, even after doing all things in our control, our boss will still be unhappy and it will be regarded as poor performance. This is causing a lot of stress, Swamiji.
Okay, a very practical question.
Yes.
Fine. See, a stress which is coming because of our own action. And the example is given here that this person has done some action and still the action is not up to the mark which is required. So what is and how to develop or how to improve upon our own action and be stress free? Let me just explain you. Every instrument, this body, mind and intellect is called as instrument. The tool which we are using for our action. Every instrument has its own capacity. Please understand, every instrument, body, mind and intellect has its own capacity. So, every capacity of every person has a different capacity. If the work which is there with all of us is little of higher capacity than what we have, then this also brings this sort of fear, this sort of stress, because of that I am incapable of doing this action. Please understand, this also is one of the reasons that a person who has one who has less capacity, lack of capacity is one of the factor to bring the stress. Now what is required? See, point one has to be very firm and very sort of equipped with a right knowledge about the actions we do. And if we have this sort of right knowledge as well as right experience of the action, then we definitely can improve upon our actions day after day. So I can tell you that take some right guidance from a right technical people about whatever job you are doing and understand where you are lacking in the action. So if right guidance is given and if you put a right effort, I can assure you, you will bring the best. So
yeah, that sounds very good. That sounds very good and very inspiring, Swamiji. Another question that we just got is how can we teach stress management to children?
oh, good. This is a nice question. See, how we can teach a stress management to the children. See, children actually do not have a stress. But what happens because we make them condition? How we make them condition? Like if a child is going to the school, then what do we say? See, this other person, your friend is doing that, and you must do that, and then only I consider you as the best. Now just see, because we put them into this sort of world and condition their mind, and therefore there is a chance, or there 100% is a chance of this stress. Now, the stress therapy for all children is through the games, through a right games. You cannot keep talking to them one by one, and keep teaching them everything by just words. All children, they learn everything by a right game. Now you tell them to play one game, whatever is possible for you. Like example, cricket. Now if you take up a cricket, now just explain them that cricket, if you are playing sort of a match, which match? Now there is a one-day match and you are one of the so-called player in this one-day match, and it's a scorching hit. Now sun is on its top and therefore there is a very hot season and still you have to bat. Now how will you bat? Because you have to, put your efforts to win your team, and therefore there is nothing called as so-called as bad situation, bad atmosphere. You focus on your actions and then you hit as much as you can. Now just imagine, if we teach them everything through such which they can understand, because they love to play, and when they play, we all know that if also we play, our stress goes away like this. Therefore,
yeah, so cricket example works very well because the IPL is going on. And
yes.
Everybody loves to watch matches.
Yes, so fantastic. So this cricket is one example which you can take it up and make them understand the stress management.
Yes. So Swamiji, this is the last question. The Pooja Punjabi wants to know how to develop faith, how to pray, what should prayers consist of. We start believing only when some miracles take place. So how do we essentially develop faith without really waiting for miracles to happen to us?
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really fantastic question. See, faith is such which you cannot just develop by doing something, first and foremost. The faith in its real terms, you will able to understand as well as develop when you remain in the company of faithful people. Please note it. You develop a faith towards the Almighty when you come in the contact or when you are associated with the people, those who have a very strong faith. So how to develop a faith? To be in association of a very strong, faithful people. First thing. Another, prayer now. This prayer is very important. Why? See, understand, whatever we all have is in limited quantity. Our so-called as power is also limited. Whatever power we have, whatever Shakti we have is limited. So ask from where this even limited power is coming. So there is a huge abundance supply of power in this whole universe. So from the universe it is coming. For simple example, like we all have a water tank, small water tank in our house. So from where this water is coming? This is a small limited sort of storage. So it is coming from the huge somewhere where is a big huge storage, and from where that is coming, it is still huge. So just to make you sure, whatever we all have is in limited capacity. But if you have to increase that capacity, let us connect it to that supreme, that which has everything in abundance.
So, Swamiji, I just
through prayer.
Just two things. Increasing capacity. So, how do we increase the capacity? By meditating, by chanting?
Yes. So, by one, if you have a right connection with any form of the Lord, any form of the Lord, then this connection will bring a lot of strength in your mind. Like all children, they love Hanumanji. So if you make them pray to Hanumanji, then see what happens to all of them. They start feeling that energy, that confidence, and that sort of get going.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, Swamiji. What about the non-believers? How can they
what we are
benefit
talking
from
about
energy?
So unless and until you have a faith, how can you pray? So prayer is for the person who has belief. So prayer is not for that who does not have at all a faith in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Swamiji, thank you very much. It was a wonderful session, and
thank you to every one of you who
we take away so many things
present here.
Yeah, so we take away so many things from this session, and more importantly, we take away the fact that insecurities give rise to stress and fear, and we have to understand this world, the sansar. You explain the meaning of sansar, and he who understands the nature, the true nature of the world, that the world is always changing, it's always moving. He is not affected by these insecurities. And another thing to do is to develop the capacity to let it go. So am I right, Swamiji? That's the main thing, let it go.
Short.
Yes, and also to the capacity to communicate well, and train and push yourself. So these are the takeaways that I'm taking from this. I've made notes of these in my papers. So Swamiji, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you to TOI for this session. Hari Om, and may Lord bless everyone. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.